Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends, colleagues, listeners, and anybody who's just tuning in for the first time. We try and bring guests of a very high stature and position, and today is a great exception. We've got a gentleman who's been around for some time, very successful, Mr. Adel Mardini, who's the Jetex founder and CEO. So welcome, sir. Great to have you on.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris, for having me.
Really, really appreciate it. And we're speaking to you in Dubai. So very, very nice. I know that very well. I used to live on the marina.
Oh, and I've got a lovely place.
It's
where I'm living now.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Yeah, I loved it. I had some great years there. So, Mr. Mardini, let's just give the listeners a little bit of background, who you are, what you do, and why.
My name is Adel Mardini. I started this business end of 2005 in Dubai, and I started Jetex as a flight support, logistic, and full support for all the private jet travelers around the world. In 2009, I moved to build my first FBO in Paris, La Bourget. And since 2009 till today, we achieved 33 terminals all over the world and very strong platform and network to handle all the requirements for our private jet traveler, even if they are part of the companies that we serve them or they are individual and chartering their own jets.
Fantastic. And for those who are listening, FBO being fixed base operators, so what you've actually done is something that I think is long overdue, because as the private aviation sector has moved on, some of the terminals were definitely being left behind. So what you've managed to do now is exceptional.
What we are doing in our exceptional is like we are mixed between hospitality and aviation. We are in the land side, we are totally hotel business. On the RAM side, we are totally providing aviation services. This is the mix that we provide for our customer. When we created this concept, we figured out the passenger, any traveler in the private jet has to spend 5 to 10 minutes on the lobby side. This is exact time when you go on the check-in in any 5-star hotel. So this is our KPIs for our team, like up to 10 minutes with 12 minutes for the luggage in and out. This is the same KPI that all the 5 stars around the world using. And this is a concept that did not exist before.
That's fantastic. And I've heard it said that that you're a one-stop shop for luxury private jet terminals, ground support, trip planning, and bespoke concierge services.
100%.
Quite a nice description.
We present ourselves as a Jetex, as a one-stop shop for all the requirements for the private jet traveler, including the private terminal, including all the bespoke and concierge service after leaving the terminal. And even the customer, if they own private jet, we provide for them for the full logistic on support, including flight planning, dispatch, flight following, clearances, ground handling, catering, all the service required by private jet traveler. This is part of our job. I have 560 employees all over the world working 24/7 to provide the excellent support for the customer. What we are doing is like mix between the logistic and support for some location, and some location we have our own team. So we are not third party in most of the location. We are in some location, we present the service by ourselves.
Okay, excellent. Now, it's also been termed that you're a positive disruptor within the FBO sector. And I've been called a disruptor many a time in my career. I'm not sure whether it was always positive, but the disruptor, I think, is always, if it's done for the best intentions, it's always good. Now, one of the questions I'd like to ask you, obviously the whole world now has been faced with this terrible dilemma, and everybody has got respect for all the frontline workers and everybody that's, you know, done so much for so many. But what it's done is it's put the supply chain and things that people took for granted into a different perspective. So obviously it's very sad, you know, with lives that have been lost. And I'm also a believer that there's going to be a second wave without a shadow of a doubt. So things like private aviation are going to become ever more important and ever more sought after. You agree with that outlook, do you?
100%. Let me tell you one thing. First of all, when you fly in commercial airlines, there's 700 touch points to reach the airplane. While when you are traveling in a private jet, there's only 20 touch points till you reach to the airplane. This is a massive difference. If you are,
Goodness me.
yeah, this is how the passenger figure out is important in flying private jet. And when the World Health Organization announced that Corona is a pandemic, none of the countries around the world were aware or prepared about this pandemic. But even now, if there's another wave, I can assure you that all the countries around the world already prepared. They have their own stock of everything. And hopefully it will be not another wave for the pandemic. But I can assure you, like, the people, first of all, they feel how safe to fly in private jet, number one, and they feel the value. One thing I want to add here, just like 70% of my customers for the past 2 months, all of them a new client for me. I never heard about this name. All of them came from first class and business class.
That's what I was going to say. From a bystander's perspective, I was looking. I just flew myself last week, so it's the first time I flew since March, I think. And you know, you could sense people's fears and sensitivities and the way they were looking at each other, and when we got on the aircraft, the different process, etc. And albeit it was a good experience, but there was more problems on the ground before and after than I actually took notice of before. So I think so many more people now are looking for a different way. And anybody that was able to afford first class travel previously, it's got to be a realistic option and a much better option. And as you say, 700 touch points for a normal passenger and down to 20 on private. That's incredible.
Exactly. And one thing to be added here, just like if you are a traveler in first class and you have like 5-6 flights a year, so I'm sure you will like make it 3 flights in private jet and save the cost of 6 first class ticket to fly 2 or 3 times in private jet, and you'll be more safer.
Yeah. So people's habits and their choices, it's now an opportunity to change. And I'm assuming that you see yourself as part of a complete exclusive supply chain, whereby at the front end you're involved, and at the back end you're involved. And then if the passengers then go to an exclusive vacation location where there's also minimal touch points, that's all part of what people are looking to do now until the incredible vaccine turns up at some point next year.
I'm telling you, for example, about one of my network in Dubai. We did in the first 2 weeks of July here in Dubai is like more than 150 flights in a private jet. While entire July 2019, we did 150 flights. So we have a double business comparing of last year. And this is like a strong indication how the people realize the importance of flying private jet.
Yeah, no, I think it's incredible. Now something that, and again, it's for me, I get so mad when I see the press be so negative about success, and it's almost as if bad news always sells, negative news sells, but good news people try and keep to the side. But my philosophy is anybody that started their own business and anybody that's success, it's not just that one overnight success. It's many tries and many failures, and learning from it and having the determination and the strength and willpower to get up and keep going until they're successful. Now, once they're successful, that gives a new lifestyle to so many other people that are employed and involved. So if anything, people should be so pleased to see success rather than make people feel ashamed of it.
I fully agree with you. Like, first of all, we see a lot of people, especially during the pandemic, were like negative, and unfortunately, they look to the future, especially for the coming 2 years, in a negative way. Me personally, I believe like what we built in Jetex, just like for the past 15 years, is a platform, and this platform, since, for example, in 2008 there was financial crisis.
Yeah.
And 2001, when September 11 happened, was the most concern was the security, but now the most concern is the safety.
Yeah.
So all this we learn from everything happened, and because we have a strong platform, we are able to continue and survive. Commercial airlines is suffering, and commercial airlines will keep suffering for the coming 2 to 3 years. And this is not something like confidential. IATA lost $83 billion,
Yeah,
or Emirates Airlines laid like 9,000 employees. Qatar Airways did this back. There's like a lot of unfortunately like not good news for the commercial airlines. But to be honest with you, like we look to this angle in different way. We look, this is good for the people to realize how important the flying private jet. The platform that it took for us 15 years work day by day with a team, and it's not successful of me only. It's my team who supported me to reach what we reach today. So it's not matter of like what we achieved today. It's the hard work that happened for the past 15 years.
exactly.
We are so happy with the position that we have in the industry. We are one of the leading company in the world who provide this type of service.
Exactly. And also, like, again, another positive point, and it's something that most people don't think about. People in senior positions, they still do have to see face to face and have confidential meetings, etc. And sometimes, whilst, you know, platforms like Zoom and various others are convenient, it's still difficult to do those finer details. So for top executives and people who are running big corporations, it's important that travel, and also it's important to optimize the efficiencies of that travel. And one of the things I was talking to somebody about, which I never even thought about, even in first class where you've got these nice suites where up to 4 people can sit, they still have to be careful about what they're saying and who's listening because of the confidentiality issue. Yeah. And from what I understand, an executive who uses private aviation can actually gain between 35 and 45, maybe even 50 days a year by private aviation, as opposed to using standard transportation on commercial aviation. Now, what those individuals can do in those extra days is phenomenal.
Yeah. Let me Sir Tim Clark, the head of Emirates Airlines, he said like he don't expect the virtual meeting will continue, and he expect clearly and fully confident like the people will come back and travel and will make a meeting, because Zoom and all like virtual meeting, it's something which is like happen because of like there's a pandemic. But I can assure you the people will come back and will come back flying and have like face-to-face meeting, because you know like this is the major element of doing business.
Yeah, no, 100%. And this is an incredible opportunity for you and other similar companies within your sector to set standards now to such a high degree that anybody who does experience it, and like you said, to have all of these new customers, once they experience it, I would suggest it's probably unlikely that they'll go back too quickly to the traditional first class model.
Again, like what we figure out now in our industry, that's like start people creating their own group and sharing the aircraft together. For example, I have 2 flights to one to Beirut and one to Turkey from Dubai, and just like 2 family came and shared the aircraft, and the cost is almost the same if they are flying first class.
Yeah, and I think people will be creative and they'll do that, and they'll have private 100%. Aviation clubs and units, and then there'll be a little separate business for people who've already secured it to offer the space to others.
I agree with you 100%. The only challenge that in this sector, just like, you know, the idea of selling seat on the airplane, which is like, I believe it facing a lot of difficulty in this part of the world because of the concept of the private jet. Because when you travel in private jet, you prefer to know who will be sit next to you.
Yeah.
So if you create your own, if you are a co-worker in a company or a friend or a family, so you'll figure out who will be with you. But if you buy a seat and you don't know like who will be next to you, some people don't like it. And I can tell from my experience, like especially in our region, and the people like they prefer to like when they have a private jet, they know who's sitting next to them.
Yeah. So again, I still think it gives opportunities for like a networking model. So like you said, when people are familiar and happy with that company, it's more like sharing space rather than just securing a seat. So I think it's a great idea.
I can assure you, like the concept of like creating a group and flying together and sharing the cost, I can see it like in daily basis going up more and more. Today we have 2 flights from India, the same like group of family create their own group and sharing the cost, and they almost spend the same money of like the coming commercial airlines business or first class.
Yep, yep. No, I can imagine. Now, with private aviation, obviously, it's changed. So the dynamics and the generations that were used to having their own private jets were probably up in the late 50s, 60s, and now the ages are coming down. It's a totally different dynamic now, huh?
Yeah, totally. Plus, before we saw the traveler only who's coming from oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
I can see now many of them mainly coming from IT and technology.
Yeah, big shift, huh?
Big shift, like yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If I'm just thinking to myself, if only I could start again.
It's a big shift. Like, yeah, I can see like most of the travelers, new generation, I can figure out like from my own database that I did for the past year, like the average age, I'm talking about 35 to 45.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Blimey, that's some very, very...
More than 50% of our customer who flying via our network, which is like last year we did almost 100,000 travelers around the world who flying private jet.
Blimey.
50% like in this age.
Well, good luck to them. I think, well, fair play to them. That's what paying attention and being creative and having an appetite for a bit of risk can do for you, huh? Now, the number of private jets. So, correct me if I'm wrong, about 7,000-8,000 at the moment.
Depends on latest number in the world. There's almost 16,000.
16,000.
10,000 in US and 6,000 out of US.
Okay, so that's all right. So that's how the markets are divided. And obviously, again, I would think now with what's happening that the 6,000 out of the US, that's where there's going to be a big growth spurt now coming as well.
Yeah, you know, around 10,000, and there's like it's 60% of the private jet in the world is located in US, 27% in Europe, and the rest around the world.
Okay, right. So that well, there's definitely scope for that to change.
Yeah. So I expect this number will be, I can see like more growth in Asian market for the coming 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Especially in a market such as Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam. I can see this is a potential places. Plus, we are seeing like big potential in Latin America, places such as Brazil, Argentina, Colombia. We can see like growth start picking up.
Okay, yeah, and so obviously everybody's expectations, because one of the things that during this particular problem that's caused concern, I think, for the consumer, is the way different airports and different carriers have had different solutions and different approaches. So they're not seeing consistency, and what they need to see is nice, simple guidelines, simple directives, but something that makes sense.
I fully agree with you, because most of this airport missing the infrastructure for the private jet. I'll give you an example. In the world as of today, there's around 4,500 FBO.
Yeah, okay.
3,000 of them based in US and 1,500 in the rest of the world. So if you are talking about like 4,500 FBO with 16,000 private jet, which means like you need to add like more FBO, you need to increase the infrastructure and build the right infrastructure for the private jet in order to increase the demand of this one.
Exactly.
Let's talk about my region. We wait in Oman till build the new airport in order to have a slot for the FBO. We apply now for like, with Dubai, we wait like 7 years till the new airport open to have a slot in the airport, in the new airport. So everything depends on the infrastructure that the government doing. And all of in Marrakesh, for example, when you opened last time, we wait till the government finalize building the new airport in Marrakesh, and then they give us a slot there. So everything depends on the infrastructure happening on the airport.
Okay, and are you seeing that mindset now from airport operators changing?
I can see the airport operators, the main one in the world, they start focus and talk about the importance of the private jet. Yeah. Before, for them, private jet is like something they can outsource it, but I can see the people now is more, especially the big airport operator, looking seriously about this business, how we can grow it. Because as you know, private jet is not only private jet. We are talking now about two type of service, VIB and CIB. VIB when you use the private jet, and CIB, which means commercial important person, when you are flying in commercial airlines, but you want to be treated as you are flying in private jet.
Yeah.
And this is the biggest demand.
Yeah, yeah. That's all with the side exits and the steps down and yeah.
Exactly. And you go by own limo, go from terminal, you have your own customs, immigration, concierge, drive you to the airplane and come back without, you will meet with the people only on the air. The only difference, the airplane.
Yeah.
You have the same service level.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's amazing. But like you said, everybody's having to look at all the different elements of the business now, because this damn pandemic has changed everything, and people need the sustainability and continuity. So they've got to look and cater for, what happens if scenario A is in place and scenario B, so that they've got mitigation and continuity and contingency all accounted for.
Exactly. This is how the people to look for the coming, from now till the coming 5 years, the world will be changed. Before the pandemic, it will not be the same like after the pandemic.
Yeah. Can I ask you something now? And another term that I've heard used about you and your organization, which is, I think it just rolls off the tongue. A special alchemy between the world's most luxurious hotels, lifestyle brands, and private aviation. That's a wonderful banner, right?
Yeah.
Now, to train people up to the standard of that statement must be hugely challenging, but equally rewarding.
Believe me, it's a massive challenge, and we are the first one in the world who implement this concept to change. Let me give you an example. All the commercial airlines right now is shopping mall.
Yeah.
When you go to any airport, it's shopping mall.
Yeah.
What we presented here in the private terminal is the hotel lobby. This is the difference. Yeah. And I brought all my team from hotel background.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah.
All my team came from hotel background. Even the uniform of the team is you are in a hotel lobby.
Yeah.
I'll give you the feel that's okay. You are flying private jet with $25 million cost, or per hour like $5,000 to $10,000. You will have the same level of the service that you want. This is clearly, and I'll give you like another example. If you go and book residential suite in any big hotel, such as like Four Seasons or Ritz-Carlton or Peninsula or like all the big names, how much you are paying per day? You are paying like $10,000 on average per day. When you are flying private jet, the cost is around $10,000 per hour. Yeah. So you can figure out how much our business is expensive.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. The expectations are incredible, huh?
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, and quite rightly so. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a differential.
Again, like the people realize that they will have the same service here. I have my own concierge. I have like my own bellboy. I have doorman. I have the guest experience guard. I have like the same concept if you go. But my guest experience team will drive the passenger to the airplane instead of driving them to their room. This is the only difference.
Yeah, yeah, and a couple of colleagues of mine, because of a couple of scares with the pandemic, one of the things they said was that, and it's an old saying, they said there's no pockets in a shroud. So if they get the chance to spend money on something to have an experience in life that they will never, ever, ever forget. And there's a lot more people now having that approach, that this has brought the realities of how important life is and how to value it, and to share good fortune or a great experience with those that you care and love.
Trust me, like I met with a couple British people who were in Dubai, left to UK last week from Dubai. They told me this is the first time leaving their home, and they came to the airport and they decided the whole money that they save, just like to fly in private jet, they don't want to be in a risk.
Yes.
So just like I asked the guys, but you know how much expensive? He said, like, I had no idea before how much expensive, but for me, my safety is a priority.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think people's risk values now are going to change, because it's almost like a tug of war between two generations. You've got
Yeah.
the older generation who are so worried and want to look after their life, and you've got the younger generation who are so desperate to get one and get over this pandemic. And that risk is, you know, it's incredible, but it's worth so much more money.
This is the reality.
Yeah.
The people will value how the time to be safe is a priority for them.
And do you think there's an opportunity for private aviation to also partner with some of the large carriers so that there's an alternate with regards to offering a VIP service or a private service instead of first class if that market starts to tail off?
I believe it can be a good idea, especially for like big airlines, such as like the American operator, Air France, Emirates Airlines. I believe this can be like one of the indication. And you know, Emirates Airlines already started when they have two ACJ and with like 14 or 16 private suite. So I believe it's a matter of time, the concept will be shifted. And I can see this is coming for sure.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. Now, to maintain the level of the luxurious hotel, the lifestyle brand, and the private aviation and concierge concept, do you have a special like formula, you know, the Jetex success formula that you inject into the training and the personality and the performance of the staff?
For sure, I do. I do my own quality team. I'm working with like the same company who doing quality and assessment for all the hotel to check like our level of the service. We've been awarded the first FBO terminal in the world, awarded 5 stars from the government based on our service level. And this is big achievement for us. And this means they are coming and check us and audit us. And from time to time, randomly, we have like a check from our own auditor and from the government about the level of the service because we got the 5 stars.
That's fantastic. And now, obviously, one of the things that most organizations almost took for granted and didn't give too much focus to was the QHSS&E team. But now people are starting to look at environmental issues, obviously, which I think is one learning experience from this pandemic. But most importantly, it's to do with the hygiene, the health and the hygiene.
Trust me, the people now look more seriously about every single details, and especially for the hygiene.
Yeah.
I have every single family, they have their own sitting area. The minute that we have a booking for the flight, the minute that we block a dedicated area for them, and they have dedicated team who meet with them.
Yeah.
Only we allocate 2 to 3 persons depends on the size of the family to be take care about the entire family till they reach the airplane. Again, I'm telling you, like 700 touch point you will have if you fly commercial. If you fly private, you will have 20 touch point.
And when you say touch points, you're talking about opportunities for either documentation handover, touching, coming in contact with different people.
100%, yes.
It's a phenomenal difference. The ratio is incredible.
Massive.
Yeah. And I would imagine confidentiality amongst your staff is one of the key areas.
It's a must, and it's a major element of like keeping our customer flying via us. We are so happy that we maintain the same level of passenger and customer and the flight per year and increasing year by year. For the past 10 years, we maintain in Paris almost 19 to 20% share market, which is like almost 11,000 flight per year. It's a massive number.
That is, isn't it?
Yeah.
My goodness me. And you know, do your staff have to undergo obviously special background checks, you know, certain ongoing training regime and like an MOT test of capability and competence?
We do have it via the government because especially for a place such as Dubai, the government will make the check and this is for sure. It's like it's controlled by them. Okay.
And with FBOs now around the network, have you got some targeted locations where you're looking to develop and grow into over the next year or so?
My target now is Asian market because this is the place, and plus the Latin America market. We made very successful step in Brazil last year, and we are going to expand in the rest of the location. Asia, we don't have for the time being a location there, but I can assure you we'll have a couple of announcements before end of the year in the Asian market.
Okay, very good. And another thing, obviously, if there is a second wave, it's going to put even more pressure and restrictions on commercial aircraft, but the private sector has got the opportunity to, you know, navigate around those obstacles.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm telling you, like, for the coming 2 years, who will keep a fly, who now try to fly, who fly private jet, will continue fly private jet at least for the coming 2-3 years, and who usually have a budget for to fly 6 times.
Yeah.
First class, he will downsize it to like 3 times, but in private jet.
Yeah. And are you seeing the length of time, especially for vacations, being longer but being more focused? Because that's also something that I've seen from people I know. They're saying, right, you know, where we used to go away 5 or 6 times, I agree with you now. They're saying we'll do 3, but we go for a longer period of time.
100%, yes.
And some are even talking about selected destinations where the medical support and the isolation is top on their agenda, and they're considering going for a large proportion of any secondary lockdown.
Exactly what's happening now. The people will extend their stay better than go on back as before. The whole concept has been changed.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I've got to say how good those flowers look in your backdrop there.
Thank you very much. Just like I'll give you like a quick about like this is the office. That's like,
yeah, very nice. Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah. It's very clear to see what you're talking about. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, I can almost smell the fragrance.
Thank you. This is the level that we are always deliver to our customers.
Yeah, no, and we
are
so
delivering
important.
Their expectation.
Yeah. Surpassing people's expectations, because you never get a second chance at first impression.
Never ever. First impression is the last impression.
Yeah, and that's so important. Now, challenges and what you consider to be risks. What would you say are the biggest challenges now that you're going to face over the next year?
Finding more location.
Yeah.
Because our opportunity depends on the slot on the airport. This is the biggest challenge that we are facing. I'll give you an example about Luton Airport. Luton Airport has 2 licenses on the ground.
Yeah.
We are trying we tried many times to be there, but unfortunately, like there's no slot because like there's two handler on the ground and they cannot accommodate one more handler because of there's like limitation of the space. There's multiple airports we are targeting, but our hand is tied because there's no slot. So this is the major challenge that we are facing. There is the slot in the airport.
It might be worth talking to them again at the moment, I would think, because they're under a lot of pressure with the way the businesses are closing down and restrictions.
I don't see who is flying in working private jet in pressure. Trust me, no.
No, but no, but it's.
I don't see like this because I'm pretty sure like. When the airport shut down for 3 months, everyone was in trouble, 100%. But now, after the airport start picking up, the business will come back much better. I don't see anyone in trouble now in the business aviation. This is my assumption.
Really, in private aviation?
Private aviation for sure,
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely not. I think the opportunities there are incredible.
Especially the oil is going down now.
Yeah.
It's a massive opportunity. The importance of flying private jet, the oil is going down. It's a massive opportunity to grow the business aviation.
Yeah. And let me ask you something as well, because there's a perception, and again, from elements of the media with regards to environment, and they keep, almost saying that most of the environmental issues are because of private jets and aviation in general, which is so far from the truth. Again,
we respect this idea, and we fully, even like we sign a contract with the company name Wright Electrical in US, and we plan to implement like electrical aircraft charging in all our stations. We support this one 100%. But in the end, we are not part of the operator. We are not Bombardier or Gulfstream or the people who support building the airplane. But we believe like one day in the future, electrical airplane will be implemented.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's so many positive initiatives, and fuel burn and various environmentally positive
Give me a
initiatives that are
solution.
taking place. It's amazing.
Give me a solution. Give me another solution for the timing. There's no other solution.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Exactly.
For sure,
And
everyone would like to be green, and everyone want to be like in a good place. But the issue, like, what the other solution now? Till they
yeah,
find a solution, unfortunately, we'll keep using the traditional way of flying.
yeah. No. Exactly. Exactly. And now, if there is a second wave, and like I said, it's just I'm not trying to be a doom merchant at all, because I do agree with what you said earlier, that people will have learned so much from the first lessons that they now should be much more organized and structured. But with that coming of the second wave, is there anything that you're doing now specifically with regards to your new customers, your existing customers? Are you offering certain special memberships or special opportunities?
Look, our customers, like who's flying private jet, they are not a people who like be in a membership. Mainly what they are doing is just like they want to customize their flight, depends on their requirement.
Yeah.
So we prepare ourselves for second wave if it's happened, which hopefully not, as you mentioned, but we will be very capable to handle all the requirements. And we are in communication with our partner and the aircraft operator to base their aircraft in our major destination, Paris, Dubai, London, in the major destination, to be ready on standby for all the customers if they want to fly. Because when they stop the commercial airline, a lot of people stuck in the airport.
Yep.
So we are in talks with all our partners to make an immediate solution for the people in order to flying, to avoid what happened for them. Because as you know, still a lot of people stuck in some destination because of
exactly.
So this is what we are doing to avoid the second wave problem. Again, the world is prepared now.
Yeah. Oh, we certainly hope so. When I was talking about membership, it's exactly the point that you've raised there, that so many people could now be stranded, or they could be desperate to get back. And what I was saying is, for a temporary period of time, if there was a second wave, are yourselves and the providers of the private jet aviation, are they considering now, if the capacity is there, to be offering a pre-planned alternative for people so that they wouldn't then have the threat of being stranded? So albeit it's not the normal services, it would be a special, like I say, membership or whatever, just because of the potential of that second wave. Is there any initiative between the providers of the flights and obviously the FBOs?
Let me tell you one thing. This pandemic let a lot of people create an idea, membership, platform, but this is under process. It's not released yet, and I don't believe will be in the market before end of the year. Okay. When hopefully the vaccine will be in the industry. And again, this is something which is again, is not sure yet if the vaccine will be delivered before end of the year or not. There is a lot of opportunity. Oxford one, we have a couple in US. Everyone in the world working very hard to achieve this this solution. But private jet wise, I can assure there's a lot of people now trying to create a platform in order to have membership for the customer. But who will be in the membership? It will be different people who's traveling now in a private jet.
Yes.
People, trust me, who is traveling in a private jet now will stay flying the private jet.
Yeah, clear on that.
Who will be in the membership? The people who usually flying business or first class.
Yes, yeah. Or people with that unique commitment that they've got to make. And that's why I was just curious as to whether or not the capacity on the private jet side, if there was a little bit of surplus, that they would be considering doing some special project or program.
Trust me, there is a full capacity. There's again in US there is 10,000 private jet, and the rest of the world there's 6,000 private jet. There's enough supply in the market. Yeah.
No, okay, very good. Right, sir. Is there anything else, any other message that you'd like to give to anybody who might be considering, or for those who are looking for endorsement that the standards and everything else is going to continue the way they've experienced? Is there any message you'd like to give out to anybody listening?
just one thing, be positive. And just like we are very optimistic that the market will come back stronger. Maybe the private jet will be the first market to rebound quickly, but the rest of the market will come back. We saw some good number from hospitality in Europe as a stock yesterday, and I believe it's a matter of time. Everything will come back. Just like we have to be motivated and positive.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this is coming very soon.
Yeah, inshallah. Yeah, yeah. Please God, and keep everybody safe.
Stay
well,
safe.
sir, it's been an absolute pleasure. And what you're doing and the standards you're aspiring to, I think, is a lesson for everybody. And it doesn't matter at what pitch you are. You know, those standards and that first impression is always important. And good luck with everything. Stay safe. And
stay safe, you and the audience. Thank you very much, Chris.
And I'm looking forward to coming to see you and seeing your staff in action and the premises one day. So
looking forward. I'll give you a tour and you will see what I mean.
I'm looking forward to that. Listen, thank you very, very much, and continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you.